Chibi Reviews on X says, breaking news, Valve has been forced by the UK Online Safety Act and Ofcom to force users to verify through credit card information. Steam offers a disclaimer showcasing this was the best option out of all the horrendous other ways they could have implemented this. And here's the screenshot saying privacy and security. Among all age assurance mechanisms reviewed by Valve, this process preserves the maximum degree of user privacy. Just in that opening statement, they're already hinting that they don't like what is happening. They are not on board with this stuff. They're just doing it because they want to stay in business. And the government is trying to come down hard on companies right now for the ID verification stuff. The data processed in the verification process is identical to that of the millions of other Steam users who make purchases or store their payment details for convenience. The verification process therefore provides no information about a user's content preferences to payment providers or other third parties. Valve handles the verification process using its own internal payment processing system, which is independently certified under the PCI DSS standard, which is boss to drop that and be like, yeah, we're not using whatever these systems, these foreign governments are trying to make us use. We got our own and it's certified. It's fine. That's all well and good. But that doesn't necessarily mean that people are okay with this. People are actually very frustrated that this is the direction it's still going. And people want to push back against this. This is Christina Tacey says, Steam is now prompting me to prove I'm over 18. My account is 19 years old. And it brings me to a greater point that I've noticed being a big issue here. And massive shout out to Preston Byrne, the lawyer that is currently suing the UK in defending 4chan and Kiwi Farms. I saw him post this and I had to follow up on it. But what he posted initially was from Paul Moore, security consultant. And he said, the Online Safety Act under 18 extension. This is a proactive privacy measure for concerned parents, guardians, allowing you to inform websites that your child is under 18 with absolutely no data collected. Note, this requires websites to actively check a unique header sent automatically with every request before deciding what content to show. So this guy created his own little extension that works locally, and parents can just enable it. And it doesn't cost any money, and no governments are involved. And would you look at that? Parents are actually able to parent, fixing the age verification problem, quote unquote, that the UK says is just so horrible that all of a sudden the entire world leaders and World Economic Forum and everyone around the country and world everywhere all somehow need to come together right now on this massive issue that came out of nowhere that no one cared about before yesterday, and come down and say we need ID verification and we have the companies for it. I said, this is how you know the Online Safety Act is not about protecting kids or anyone's safety. A developer built a free extension that achieves everything the law claims to do. It requires no censorship, no data collection, and no threats to websites. The only requirement is that a parent voluntarily installs it. As a parent, if I were, which I'm not, honestly, I'm not concerned about the websites my son's going to. I know what my son is into. I know what he's interested in. I am an active participant in my child's life, as any good parent should be. It should not be a concern to any parents. Again, this goes on to the parents, not the government coming in and saying, oh, we need ID verification to make sure you're old enough for this website. No, you don't. Get out of my house. I don't want the government inside the walls of my house. Go away. If safety were really a priority, this would be the obvious solution. Parents who are concerned could protect their children instantly without government stepping in. But there is no money to be made from a free voluntary extension. That is why governments push third-party age verification schemes instead. It is not about children. It is about creating a profitable new industry and expanding control. Always has been, always will be. And I said, thanks to Preston for the find, and check it out to Madam Savvy, Grums, and Chibi Reviews. Soulmate says, so many countries are trying to censor their people under the guise of protect the children. Medallion says, they know that. It's always about ... We don't trust technology alone to do the job. We need active human eyes monitoring everything you do and forcing check-ins. And Darkens Blade said, I already knew these kind of extensions could be made. This just shows it's another money laundering scheme at the cost of privacy. Not familiar with it, but I expect it to work similarly to two-factor authentication. And they're also after VPNs now, says Aeon. Kids don't use VPNs. Adults with political opinions do. Which is a fantastic point. The Verge says Steam users in the UK will need a credit card to access mature content games. Valve has started to comply with the UK's Online Safety Act. Valve started to comply with the UK's Online Safety Act by rolling out a requirement for all Brits to verify their age with a credit card to access mature content pages and games on Steam. UK users won't even be able to access the community hubs of mature content games unless a valid credit card is stored on a Steam account, while platforms like Reddit, Blue Sky, and Discord have opted for age verification checks using selfies. Valve is restricting its age checks to just credit cards, according to a support article, which, by the way, before I even keep reading this is the first domino to fall. While they're allowing certain sites, areas, and businesses to handle this on their own, the next domino to fall, and you watch as this continues, they will say, oh, there was a situation that took place with a mom in this area where the kid was able to fake it this way. And look, you know what? Just for the safety of the kids, we're going to need to just implement the ID Verify website that we, the government, have decided to be the one that is trustworthy. And we just want to use that one. Don't mind that we have friends and political allies that run that company and we're making a shit ton of money from it. No. It's for the children, guys. That's the reason. And among all the assurance mechanisms reviewed by Valve, this process preserves the maximum degree of user privacy, said Valve. Having the credit card stored as payment method acts as an additional deterrent against circumventing age verification by sharing a single Steam user account among multiple persons. In the UK, you need to be 18 years of age to obtain a credit card. So this passes the age checks onto banks instead of Valve having to perform them. If you don't have a credit card, then you won't be able to access mature. What if a kid steals his mom's credit card? What if a kid takes the car keys off the counter and goes and drives for a joyride? What if the kid picks up a knife and attacks someone with it that was a kitchen knife? Like, these are the things that's like, you can't bubble wrap the world. It's about parenting better. You can't tell people what they're allowed to do and not when you're in the government. That will never work. It's about money and control. Valve's decision to require a credit card comes weeks after the UK's new age gating rules have been found to be easy to bypass, especially with VPNs. Discord and Reddit UK age verification could briefly be defeated by Death Stranding's photo mode, but the face scanning tools have since been updated to block this bypass. Don't worry, they'll find another way and another way. That's what they always do until it starts to inhibit the actual users that are old enough. Again, this cannot work. It will never work. This is how they force to do an entire social ID system where everyone is just, you have an ID and you have to use this ID on everything you do. And then we can track everything you do. Ultimately, full power, full control, and on the way to get there, we can be greedy using these ID Verify companies to make money off of along the way. Microsoft's also started to roll out its Xbox age verification in the UK. While age verification checks are optional right now, they will become a requirement to access a variety. If it's such a dire problem, it's so serious, why is it optional now, but if eventually it won't be? If it's such a problem, don't you need to like address it immediately? Almost sounds like this isn't really a problem at all. You're just trying to force your agenda. In early 2026, when additional parts of the UK's Online Safety Act come into force, I'm telling you guys, 2026 is going to be a complete shit show. The UK might actually start World War III with what they're doing digitally, and it might actually turn physical. I'm not even joking with how this is going out there. It's absolutely insane. And it might actually start in a civil war inside the UK and Britain, fighting against their own government. I don't know if that's a civil war. That's more of a, a revolution, I guess you could say, fighting back against their own government. And it could expand from that. 2026 is going to be pretty scary, guys. I'm not even joking. This is wild. This is wild stuff. So we'll see. We'll see where it goes from here. But as of right now, yeah, Steam is now forcing people in the UK to verify their age to buy games. Wow. Great. Awesome. Banger job, governments. Thanks for taking over parenting. I'm sure it's going to work out just great.